Let's go and seize the opportunity to show you a little bit, while the sun is out, how our wetness here looks like. So I am wearing rubber boots, and you can see we have standing water all over. Mr. Cat and the hens are out. This is our grey water pond, which also gets more water. You can see this here. It is flowing. It comes there from above. It's basically coming down here this animal lane and seeps into the pond. Now let's see. Be careful. Mr. Cat always wants to go between my legs. So we have duckweed, which is also good. This is as full as it gets, and actually this time, so if we now shower or do something, of course, we will have a little bit of a challenge, but this goes lower quickly. It's not a big problem, but it could be. So this is quite an interesting discovery. It's good that I come here, because if this is completely submerged, no, it's not a problem, because if you look there, the house is higher, so it will still go out, but not as quickly. Yeah, and here you can also see that it's definitely filled to the brim. Let's see how this looks like. I have a cat between my feet. That's a challenge. Don't want to hurt him. So this vetiver are cut. There is nothing to do at the moment. And here on the other side, I don't think I have to cut this, maybe a little bit when the time comes. But for now, that's okay. Wild vetiver doesn't get cut either, so it's probably not really needed. But I like to have them develop well. More there on the other side. That is more important, but I did this the last time. So let's see what we have here. So this is completely full, and I see it flowing here on that side. That's interesting. So it's a channel apparently that goes like this, and there you can see it flowing. It doesn't come from the left side. So let me be adventurous and jump over this without falling into the water. Okay, so I managed to jump over this. Yes, so it is definitely coming from the very same pond. So this is basically, and I like this. This is basically the spillway now. Water finds its way. So that means our construction here works like this. We have the grey water pond, and normally the grey water pond empties into this other trench, but right now, because the trench is full and there's more water, this is now our spillway, and we have a plant there and some vetiver, a tree and the vetiver, so it is stable, and the water goes here and then finds its way into the next trench right here. Mr. Cat is unhappy because he's on the other side of the water. So and here to the left, water goes all the way to there. So it is also filled as much as possible. And now let's go over to the other side here. These sizzles I want to cut. When the rain is over, forecast says a week more, then I can come here and use my tool and make these cuts, so that we don't cultivate sizzles. So see, there is a slope here and we have running water, so it runs from there with a good speed actually into here, and then it continues and fills this, which basically is an extension of the depression. It's not really a pond, I like to call it a depression, that we have here. This falls dry, and over summer it is completely dry, but now it's like a pond, because it's not an irrigation pond. Its purpose is to hold the water for moments like this. And I'm hoping that some other plants, like the cattail that is already in the greywater pond, will also find its way here. Of course we can plant this, another project that we can do, but it might also just happen, because we did not plant the cattail in the greywater pond. So this looks very good. This is also interesting. So this peach tree is making new leaves. So for this one, spring has already begun. Over there, if you look at this, you see flowers emerging. That's very interesting. And yeah, of course there we also have flowers. So spring has started, or sprung. This is quite deep, by the way. So this is certainly 50 centimeters deep. Because I remember how tall this is, and you see how much is submerged. And of course the other side there, this animal lane, is also flooded. It's actually good that we were not able to plant more cypress trees here to the left. And there's actually one that toppled completely over. So I think I will manage to open this gate and go out. And then we can go there and also have a look. A few lavender plants here. I guess I need to clean this also a little bit, so that they get light once it gets warmer. I cut them back, and now it's time for the temperature to rise, and then we should have a little patch of lavender. I want to do a lot more with lavender. So these I started myself a long time ago from seed, and we can certainly also buy already plants ready for planting, for outplanting, or maybe also seed them. I need to look, but maybe you have a suggestion how to establish lavender the easy way. Yes, so the gate here is on higher ground, it's more or less dry, and you see when it was heavily raining where the water flew, so it brought some material with it, and it left there. So the gate is not affected. So on the other side we are. So it's flowing here. It comes from that side. Well, let's check out the flooding. That is why they built a well here in the past. So this basically gets filled by the catchment area, which is up there. And actually I don't like this flooding here. So I think we need to do something higher up there. A few more trenches, swales of some sort. And then we can manage this, because this water is nice, but I don't want things to sit in water like these cypress trees here. But it's only the 3 down here. And yeah, that one is completely toppled over. Where is my salt sensor? Yeah, it's there. So this is still all completely flooded. But don't you worry, this dries out relatively quickly, because the soil is still very, very sandy all over. So this does flow away. And you can see where it goes. So this is now the neighbor here on the other side. So all this water drains to here and then goes into the creek, to which I take you in a moment, and then floods this area before it then goes there to the left and exit into a river that is somewhere in that direction. But let's finish here. And there's something there in the back that I also should look at. So here again, the water is flowing. And you can hear that it exits in holes, through the holes down there. Maybe I can even, difficult ground. So they're on the other side. It's quite interesting that the wall is standing. If it topples down, we have a major problem. Yeah, so all the cypress trees here are somehow sitting in water. But as I keep saying, this will dry out. Let the sun come out, the rain stop, and then in 3 days this looks different. So Mr. Cat can now meet me again. There you are. So let's go here. And what you see here is the beginning of a fence. These fence posts are just in their holes. They are not the way they should be, but it should not be a big problem to make this right. Back then, when the workers were here, the idea was to create an animal lane where I am walking and basically enclose the whole area here to the right to keep some pigs. This is related to this idea with the maternity ward, and the idea is still alive. But one thing after the other. So this will become a fence eventually, because I have some ideas that are also related to the sheep and stuff like that. So this is now interesting. In another video I said this is not the place to build a pond. So when it rains enough, it is. So that's a good thing that I went here. So the water leaves us there, and it does come in from there above. Behind this is another pond that the neighbor was using to provide drinking water to the animals. And I thought that we cut off the flow from here, but certainly our swales there are also overflowing. Must be interesting up there. I think in the next few days I have an opportunity to go there, and then I can also show you this, because you have been asking in the past about those swales. So yes, we can definitely build a pond here, because all this water we could then store. And as you see, this area here has no trees, and we can build a structure here, a pond. Just use the big excavator and make a huge bathtub, but model it in such a way that it is a shallow area, so that plants can then establish there. And the deep end, well, it falls dry, and we might also pump it out, but it is certainly now feasible. So all this water in years like this one, and actually the last one was also like this, all this water we should store. And if the pond falls dry, well, it falls dry, doesn't matter. And the next major rain event it will fill, so it's okay. So change of plans, we should make another pond here, and also have a pump so that we can use this water to establish more here on the other side. So we keep it and then we use it. So it's very interesting. I'm so happy that I'm walking here to have a look. Yeah, he gets between my feet, then it hurts. I don't want this. Okay, so let's see. So on the other side is the neighbor, that one where we had the bad tenant, and the land is now empty. Nobody does anything there. I'm not in touch with these people, but from observation I can tell that nothing has happened. Oh no, he's thinking, how do I get across? He doesn't want to go through the water. So he tries to find another way. Let's see what he does. Ah, interesting. Smart cat. He doesn't like to swim. Just good. So yeah, so there is no doubt that with enough rain that works. So we are going to make a pond there to keep this water. And here in this area we can then plant additional trees and other things. So I'm very happy that we can come back to this original idea. So now I want to take you to the other area there, where we also can make another pond. sure if you find this interesting, but I'll let the camera rolling, doesn't matter, so that you can see this. I should mention that we will have some company here. Person who basically lives with us for the foreseeable future, so is the idea. And because of that, I have pre-ordered 7 piglets, and the idea is to have them there behind the chicken coop and later let them roam here. They will explore this area and eventually they will then go out to the rest of the area. That will be in the upcoming November when the acorns are ripe, and then we turn them into food when the time comes, so either by end of February or beginning of March, which is the time for this, or we give them another opportunity to eat acorns the next year, so it depends. But they are basically for this. They will be Iberico, and that's for our own consumption. Iberico is so nice. I want to have more, and I am running low. So now that we are back here, I think this is going to be a much longer video of me walking around and telling things, but that's okay. I think you don't mind. So in a moment I will go right. And like I said, now there's something to show. We need some sort of an event, and then I have a reason to take you with me on a walk. You will not find it very interesting to see me working on a computer. But then after all, it's also not about me, but about the things that we can do here. And now I basically am locked out of here, and I'm not sure if I want to jump over this. Well, I think I'm going to try, but without the camera, so hold on a moment. Okay, so that wasn't such a big deal. This looks treacherous, so I try to be careful. I stepped onto this boulder there instead of jumping into the green area. You don't know how deep it is and what is there. One needs to be careful. So we have extremely nice grass, and this is for later, which is why this barrier exists, so that the sheep and originally the horses will not come in here yet, because this is supposed to be their summer food. Well, so that I am now walking in very tall grass, so maybe I can show you a bit. So you see, it is tall. I can show you now the creek. And that creek is the very same where we have a pond. Yeah? So there, ahead, there is our pond, where the white bands are in the distance. And let's have a good look now at this. Because in here, I thought we should make another pond. And we can use the whole area actually. So the low-lying area. It is completely soaked here, because when it rains more heavier. Interesting. This looks like someone walked here, but I think it's just the plants, because that was where animals walked in the past. Okay, so this is also a problem, because in theory animals can go out here, and they did in the past. Probably the sheep won't jump over this, But this is why we have this white band here. Yes, some measure, but of course this is not the right way. So what I'm thinking is, you could actually put in something like a culvert here, probably 3 pipes where the water can leave, and then on the other side of this fence we can then make the spillway, but it goes into these 3 pipes and then it leaves in an orderly fashion and not like right now destroying everything. And here on the neighbor's side, this is the area there in the back where it gets flooded when too much is coming down, and then it goes there to the left and finds its way into a river. And now here on our side, I don't need to go to the other side here, just can use this open gate here. And my idea is basically here to the right we can turn this into a pond. And might exclude this whole area, so basically remove the fence that you see there and make this whole area for the pond and other plants, wildlife. So basically we lose this to turn it into a temporary wetland instead of having the animal lane loop there around. The design would be that the world of any animals ends there, so they can come in here or use the lane up there, and then there's a connection, the path exists to cross the easement and go into what we call our zone A. So I think here this is much better to use as a pond. Of course it's a bit sad because we managed to grow grass here, it's looking very nice, but it's not as nice, you can see it probably, as on the higher ground there, which always was better. So this area here always was a bit dry and challenged. Now it's coming along because the animals went here in a controlled fashion, but you see what happens. So here on this side, now the fence was already destroyed, was on the ground, and now even more damage happened. Because it was on the ground, then all this material attached to it, and that of course made it be dragged even further. So let me think out loud. So if this whole area gets excluded and the animal world ends here, same way as on the other side, then we can actually have this open. So instead of needing a fence here, which is also in bad shape, we can leave it open. So that the water meets no resistance, because there will be no animal on this side except wildlife. So this solves the problem. The only place where we do need to have a fence is there on the other side, because that's the animal lane, and we should control this so that the animals that are on this side and there where the water exits the pond will not come here. And you might wonder why this gate is open. So one of the former neighbors, for an unknown reason, and it raised some eyebrows elsewhere, we got a question if we know something about this. So one of these people came here for an unknown reason, drove through, left this gate opened, and we have not closed it yet. But then we don't have an animal running around here, so it's also not an urgent thing. But you see, these people, wherever they go, they behave like that. But okay, let's not talk about this. So I think this, in summer, with all the information that I can gather at the moment by looking at this, this will be pond. So we probably should dig the second pond right here, make this a huge bathtub, and use the areas left and right for some water plants. I'll make them shallow and go deep in the center. And this is for irrigation. And depending how much time we spend on this, time means money. I can tell you a number, it's some 800 euros a day. Then we might enlarge the pond that we have there on the other side, but maybe it's not needed. So if we have two, that might be okay. So thinking about project management, it gives us more bang for the buck to build another one here as large as possible. And if we run out of money, then we leave it and enjoy the benefit instead of making the other pond bigger first and then we run out of money. So it makes more sense to start with the second pond. And again, I'm walking here in all this very tall grass. I am thinking that I should go out here to the right and take you again out to the actual pond that we already have. So I see you on the other side of this. But first, I can tell you something. You will see there's a gate, and I have this idea that we can control the sheep's movement and put him to use with some gates that open automatically. So I need to research gate openers, and then we can build these automatic gates and then let the sheep out here, cross over, and then go there. So I see you on the other side. It's beginning to rain, but over there it is still light. So I think I'm going to try this. And then we can go down there for another look. But no, let's not do this, because you have seen this already. So I think I can cut the last few minutes and leave it. So the idea is to remodel this here, have an automated gate on this side. Then we need to have something here so that the sheep won't go left or right, but straight. This is a problem because this is the easement, and this is now not completely automatable unless we build a larger gate, which is something that I don't want to do, but we can try it here. And then the sheep can go into the area for maintenance where we will plant the palovnia trees. So this fence here to the left is okay, needs a little bit of tensioning. And then this is the perfect animal lane. Larger animals like a cow, they would go here single file, but for sheep that's no problem. And we can use them to do some controlled rotational grazing, because we have them. And I'd rather invest into this infrastructure with the animals that we have, instead of trying new animals, which then become a hassle. So yeah, plan made, kind of.